Hello and welcome everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in for a daily live stream. This is obviously the first of our many episodes, hopefully, that we've got throughout this season. The Premier League review show, obviously, in the coming weeks, obviously, we're reviewing the transfer windows, who's had the best, who's had the worst, and obviously who's been the buyers of the January transfer window and all that good stuff. But I'm joined by quite a lot of special guests as well. I'll introduce them as we go. Ricky from the 1892 Reds podcast. Bill from obviously Garage Football, my good West Ham mate. Tom, obviously the Everton perspective, my absolutely legendary mate. For him, he's known me for far too long. And for Steve as well from Steve Stubbs Football Channel. Thank you very much, gents, for coming on. Hopefully, we will be joined by Connor from the Cop Council, Doug as well, but there will be quite a lot of people coming in and out of the show, but really do appreciate the showing tonight's time as well. And we'll be going straight in terms of alphabetically. We'll go through all the Premier League teams as well. But first off, we'll start with Arsenal recaps. But thank you very much for coming on, lads, as well. Obviously, some teams have had good windows, some teams have had very bad windows. And surprisingly, Liverpool signed a player, and obviously certain clubs haven't. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Well, all the lads' socials and links are in the description. So really do appreciate if you can head over and subscribe to all their socials, the podcast and everything as well. But first off, we'll start. Hopefully, we'll have Owen from the Kop On podcast as well. But firstly, we'll get straight into obviously. Where's that gone? There we go. Arsenal, everyone's favourite team. They grab a lot of headlines on and off the pitch anyway, especially as fans as well. But sadly, I couldn't get an Arsenal perspective because I think all of them, I did send out a couple of messages to me good Arsenal mates, but I think they're living under a rock at the minute because they're not quite happy, so I didn't get any replies. But Ricky, we'll firstly deep dive into obviously Arsenal. As we were saying we don't have to discuss all of them, half of them we don't even know. But Ricky, in terms of your perspective, how would you rate Arsenal's window? Do you think it's been good, bad, or obviously we can discuss about some of the certain players that have gone out, mate?
I mean, looking at that, it looks tragic. They were supposed to bring a striker in. Didn't bring one in. They sold their captain, Aubameyang. They were linked to another midfielder. Didn't bring one in. I think that I see a stat the other day that Edu come in and he got rid of the likes of Ozil, Mustafi, all on big contracts, but then give big contracts to people like Aubameyang, and now let them go for free. So it don't help when you've got someone like that who deals with your transfers to bring into the club. But I mean, if they had any hope of top four, that's now gone. Purely on, you can't rely on lack of threat up front. And Ed and Nikita, I think it is who else. Both going in the summer, so it looks tragic, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, Bill, absolutely spot on there, mate. And it's a very disappointing window. As Ricky said there, for the Gunners, Bill, in relation to very heavily reliant on Nketiah and obviously Lacazette, do you feel Arsenal could and should have at least done a bit more better business? Obviously, they were the biggest spenders last summer in terms of the Premier League. Obviously bringing in Ben White and other players in and around the team. Do you felt this was an opportunity missed for Arsenal?
No doubt about it, mate. I think Ricky's nailed it on the head. I think their top four hopes they're over. They're gone now. They did have an outside chance, but it's been extinguished now. You can't rely on Lacazette and Nketiah to score the goals for the rest of the season. And once again, they have to rely on Saka and Smith Rowe and Odegaard, etc. So I think Arsenal, as you said, they spent well last summer. I think Ramsdale, he defied the critics. He's done brilliantly for him. Ben White started off slowly, but he's improved. And Tomiyasu, who's been one of the most underrated players in the Premier this season. He's been excellent. But selling players, as Rick has said, they cannot. I think they're doing the right thing by getting rid of the players, but they're not getting any money for them. This goes back. This isn't a new thing. I mean, Aubameyang, I know he's fallen out with Arteta, but you can't just let him go for free. At least get some sort of money for him. They got bought 50 mil a couple of years ago. Ozil was the same. Sanchez on the swap deal with Mkhitaryan. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely terrible the way they're. I mean, it's fine for us, but not all of us are non-Arsenal fans, so it's quite funny. But it's just absolutely terrible how they're running in terms of selling players. So yeah, I think if they were to have more of a chance, they need to. I would have. I wouldn't have even sold Aubameyang. I would have kept him, got him back on side. If he scored another 10 goals for the rest of the season, then they might have had a better chance of getting top 4. But I think, I think they've got good midfielders and attacking midfielders, but striking department they're very light, and I think that will cost them certainly a Champions League place, and they're going to struggle for Europa League place as well. They've had an absolute shocker for January, to put it kindly.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. Steve, is it, as the lads have alluded to, is it a matter of Arsenal haven't got the pull in relation to you haven't got a much better manager at the helm? Obviously, since Jurgen Klopp come in, very highly regarded in terms of the youth players around Europe, and Liverpool's times have changed and they've improved in terms of transfer strategy. But why do you what is it that you think that why is this the case? Obviously, those two players that Arsenal brought in, I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched all of them, but I haven't even got a clue who they are. A Colorado Rapid player coming in from the MLS. No disrespect to him, but yeah,
that sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was he.
Yeah, exactly. It's if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be very, very worried. I mean, like the boys have just said, obviously Lacazette and Nketiah scored 3 goals between them in the Premier League. Absolutely shocking for a so-called top 4, top 6 side. And you can't really rely on Saka, Odegaard and Smith Rowe to get the goals. So I really do worry for them. It's been diabolical. It's not even, you couldn't even rate them if you go on ratings wise. What's the lowest? What's the lowest? F, G, whatever it may be. It's just, I'd be very, very worried. I agree with Bill. I think Arsenal won't even get Europe this season. I think they will fall out of it now. They're just the firepower. You're not going to be worried coming up against Arsenal now when you see the likes of Lacazette and Eddie and Nketiah up front. Oh yeah, it's very dire reading for that. And I mean, like you've touched upon, Jack, as well, all the outgoings, there's all either loans or they've been released off free, so they've not made any money from them outgoings as well. That's even more worrying for me as well. I feel for Arsenal, I really do.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. Get to all your comments as well before you ask Tom in terms of the conclusion to the deep dive in terms of the Arsenal transfer merry-go-round at the minute. How you doing, Helen? Thank you very much to every single one of you. Yusuf, say hello. Jamie Lee, sorry. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Evening, everyone. Hey, Jack, I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, John. Same to you, fella. Hope you had a good afternoon or morning, whatever. Anyway, big up, Tom. Tom, mate, absolute legend he is, Tom. Obviously, it was Tom's birthday yesterday, so everyone wished Tom a very happy birthday, Tom.
So, thank you, everyone.
Was it the big 3-0 yesterday?
Unfortunately, yeah, 30, mate, but I feel 21 in the head still, mate. Still never learn.
That's the spirit, lad. Anyway, appreciate it. I really have a good night anyway, mate. Pretty sure you did. I don't know who the winners are, but we definitely are the losers. And I have dropped you the link. You're very welcome to join, mate. I know quite a lot of people are very busy, but the link is there. You can shoot in and out anyway. You're welcome to. Hi, John. I was stepping away for a minute. Spot on there. But obviously, Tom, Arsenal, as the lads have already alluded to, obviously, just looking at who's gone there. Kolasinac, I think he spent most of the time at Arsenal being a security guard for Ozil. Carlo Mari. I think, Kolasinac is definitely the head of security at Arsenal. This is more or less why, especially driving around London, you get stopped, like as those two did. But yeah, I'm looking at that. Aubameyang, as the lads have alluded to, it's a sorry state for Arsenal at the minute, mate, innit? And what's your thoughts on if you were an Arsenal fan in terms of the business, the next, like it was for certain clubs in and around, which we'll discuss tonight, in terms of, it was an opportunity missed, wasn't it, for you? Or is your thoughts on Arsenal's lack of business?
Yeah, Arsenal aren't really the best at doing business lately. All right, and much as the beginning of the season, everyone was rating that they spent about 150 million. But when you look at it now in January, they need a striker. The midfield is like pretty much a bit messed up as well. You know, Maitland-Niles went in the summer. Why would you let someone go who could actually play in the middle? You know, Callum Chambers, why would you take him to Villa? Because Villa could be pushing up for a top 4 finish as well if they wanted. It's Arsenal just shocker, mate, and disgrace, I think. There's no way. I agree with everyone, whatever all the other boys have said. There's just no chance they're going to get in the top 4. I'd be surprised if they do, but I wouldn't get in there, mate.
Yeah, they're very far away from where they used to be, weren't they, gents, as well. It's quite sad, obviously. Liverpool pre-Klopp were an absolute shambles, like the running of the club, the recruitment process, and quite a lot of Premier League clubs. We'll see who are, in terms of obviously the good run clubs throughout this deep dive in terms of every club, but it's difficult to get it right, and not many clubs have got it right in the window. Obviously, transfer fees we've seen over the years, especially the inflation of certain players. You all know the players that should never have gone for that value. Obviously, the big slab heads at Manchester United massively inflated. Not this window, but in certain windows, you've got clubs. We'll speak about Newcastle a bit later as well. That clubs, everyone around Europe know that every club within the Premier League has got a lot of money to spend. It's the most expensive league in the world, and obviously generates probably the most in terms of Europe, in terms of the revenue streams, the club ownerships as well. But unlucky Arsenal. Sorry if there's any Arsenal fans out there, really do apologise, but he's an absolutely mess at the minute, and fingers crossed he can get it sorted. But the fact that I always harp on about, obviously, the Wenger, yes, it was his time to go at the club, but that was a legend that will go down in Arsenal history. The way he was treated and barked out of the football club was an absolute disgrace for a man that won Premier League titles and changed the whole fabric of the philosophy of the club, and obviously English football as well. When he did come in from the Japanese league all those years ago, revolutionised the English game in a lot of very positive ways. But sadly, you're left with Pep's cone, whatever you want to cone putter out or whatever. The wannabe Pep, what did he said anyway? The big merchant. But he's very arrogant. Let me say that anyway. Man thinks he's better than he actually is. We'll go straight on to Aston Villa, and obviously both clubs, obviously Arsenal and Villa, have had very contrasting windows. Ricky, we'll start with you, mate. This is very from stark contrast. Look at the business, and Villa, they are, as we were saying just then, they are one of the clubs that have got things right in this window. They've brought in Steven Gerrard. Whether he most definitely has had a sway in terms of recruiting players. Players want to play under him. It's important that when you've got a key figurehead at your football club, certain managers got that pull, certain managers haven't. And then the ones that haven't are very heavily reliant on terms of good recruitment. Ricky, we'll start with you. Obviously, I'll ask the lads about this in a little second, everyone in the chat as well. They've had a tremendous window, haven't they, in terms of obviously those players coming in?
Yeah, Villa have done very well in the window, apart from Callum Chambers. That one don't make sense to me. But, I mean, they come in, they took Everton's best player, Lucas Digne. I'm mad that a Liverpool legend took a player from Everton to make them an even worse team. Agent Rafa's absolutely destroyed Everton from ground up. I mean, Coutinho is the one for me, though. I mean, it's an unbelievable signing for a team like Villa. I'm not going to lie, I wanted him at Liverpool on loan for the remainder of the season just because I thought we were short a little bit. We see in his first game back against Man United, he scored. He scored last night for Brazil as well. So hopefully we're going to see the old Coutinho come back and push Gerrard on with Villa to put them up further up in the table. But yeah, they've done some very, very good business. They've got rid of some of the rubbish that they've got there. So it's going to be interesting to see where Gerrard can take this for the team and where they finish this season.
Yeah, Bill, in relation to Aston Villa, as we were saying, just Luca Digne, the fact that they managed to get him, obviously, no, Ricky was joking, and all Liverpool fans been joking about Rafa, the great business he done, 8 million in his back pocket. But yeah, it's. Do you reckon Steven Gerrard has had a massive part to play in terms of the recruitment of all the, obviously, especially the main three, the players, and especially going forward as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. Clearly echo what Ricky's saying. I think obviously Gerrard and Coutinho played in the same side, didn't they? Towards the end of Gerrard's career. So I think that played a factor. And I think, Agent Rafa struck for all Liverpool fans out there, because not only, Everton fans were obviously not happy with getting Rafa in anyway, but falling out with Luca Digne, who's one of the best left backs in the league, and for Villa to get him for 25 mil was an absolute snip. So that's great business. And I think Callum Chambers, he's got Premier League experience. To get him on the free, and he can play centre back, right back, holding midfield. So I don't think that's a bad signing. And they managed to get some of the squad players out on loan, with getting them off the wage bill and some loan fees and stuff. So I think Villa have had one of the best windows out of the Premier League sides. I'd say they've been fantastic, and I think they're really well run as well. I think obviously Liverpool fans, I don't think are big fans of Christian Perslow, but I think at Villa he's doing a fine job. And the fact they signed Chambers, and that was just announced, and the same with Danny Ings last summer. It's like, well, it just happened. No rubbish. They're just really ruthless. So I think they're on the pitch, they're doing well with the transfers, but off the pitch, this is how they're running. They're doing really well, Villa. So a great window for them.
Yeah, tremendous, mate. Obviously, Steve, El Ghazi has gone to Everton, but I've been really impressed in terms of what the business, especially obviously on the pitch. Gerrard, he's not had a lot of time to really to get on task in terms of getting steering the Aston Villa up the table. But you've been interested in terms of the recruitment. What in terms of you have to pick Coutinho, obviously Digne, out of those two, do you think one of those is probably signing, if not signing of the window in terms of the recruitment process?
Yeah, definitely. Coutinho looks like a different player already in the 2 or 3 games that he's played so far. Luca Digne, again, agree with Bill's comment there with Digne. I think he's a really decent left back. And I mean, Everton, in all fairness, brought in a Ukrainian unproven player, a left back. He's obviously never played in the Premier League, so to put him in instead of Luca Digne, there must have been some underlying issues, which obviously we're not aware of. I don't know if Tom's aware of them or not, but I just think Villa in general, I think Gerrard's already got a footstep in the door. Obviously, he's got his philosophy, he knows what he wants to do, and I think he'll just go on to bigger and better things. But Villa definitely favourites to maybe even sneak into that Europa Conference League. I think they've bought well. Even Matty Targett, he's a decent left back as well. He's gone on loan now because Luca Digne's came in. Business. They've got rid of, like you say, the deadwood and some of the players there, but also brought in some Premier League experience, the likes of Coutinho, Digne, Alton and Chambers, all Premier League experience, which will obviously help them in the long run. Yeah, absolutely spot on, mate. Guess what everyone's commented as well. Alan said in terms of relation to the Villa, Villa are going to be a top team in a season or two under Stevie G. Absolutely spot on. Ginny, how you doing, even people? Hope you're having a good day, mate. Appreciate you tuning in. In terms of that, and in terms of, we'll go straight into obviously moving on from Aston Villa now in terms of Brentford. I think we'll only discuss one man, and it's probably is the story of the window in relation to Brentford. Bill, in terms of obviously what happened in the summer in terms of the Euros, it very much stopped football. It took obviously the headlines and obviously the great medical staff that helped in terms of rushing onto the pitch in Denmark.
it's really positive to see Christian back in, especially obviously back to playing football in terms of football, but in terms of his ability for what he could do for Brentford going forward. This could be a massive sign for Brentford, couldn't it, mate?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think we all shocked by what happened to him at the Euros last summer, and just to see him back playing again at any level would have been fantastic, let alone in the Premier League. And I think it just shows how far Brentford have come in these last few years, and to get a player of his caliber is absolutely fantastic. So whether he'll play to anywhere near his best, I think it's going to be very difficult for him. But I think even if he performs half as what he's capable of, he'll make a real difference to him. So I think it's a real win-win. If it doesn't work out, then he'll go at the end of the season. If he does well, then obviously they'll look to keep him. So I think it's really heartwarming, and it's brilliant to see him back in this division.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Anyone else want to add on Christian? I think it's just before we do move on from Brentford. I'm surprised, obviously, there's a lad in Ajax, obviously Daley Blind. I think he's had the same in terms of operation. Players can continue to play, but it's quite a rare occurrence anyway in terms of that. But Tom, your thoughts on Christian? Do you think in terms of, as Bill's alluded to, 6-month contract in terms of see how he gets on? In terms of, but he was able to pass the medical, which was a very positive step. But in terms of what this does mean for, obviously Brentford, sorry, mate. Do you think this could go to a very long way in terms of not just this season, but in terms of a couple of seasons to try and solidify their position as a regular in the Premier League?
Yeah, most definitely, because he's a unique player. Really, he's very. He can play like a Pirlo in a way, but also be like an attacker midfielder, so he can just whip the balls in, and he's a very good creative player. So I think Brentford actually need that more in the middle, because they just play it more out wing, and then they just whip it into the box. So I think he'll be a great addition to them. So I think, to be fair, it's good that they've took the risk on him as well, because I think a lot of Premier League teams probably think they don't want to be the main problem, should they say, oh, we warned you that he shouldn't be able to play. Yeah. But hopefully that this year nothing happens to him, and like you say, he's passed the medical, so he should be all fit and sound for the rest of the season.
Yeah, tremendous, mate, isn't it? This was the story of the window, especially in and around Europe. Obviously, due to the rules in Italy anyway, in terms of relation to players that legally they're not allowed to field a player that has had a heart attack or any heart problems. But all the best to Christian. Obviously, as any Brentford fans anyway, I've been really impressed. And I think all of us, from a neutral outside point of view, apart from obviously when he played Liverpool, absolutely slapped our backsides, especially at their ground. But yeah, we'll move on from Brentford. As any Brentford fans, let me know your thoughts. Obviously, the Danish contingent at Brentford, they got a massive pull, got a lot of obviously Danish nationals anyway. Obviously, Christian just adds to that, really. And I think what Brentford are doing, it's a breath of fresh air. We've seen with Sheffield United come into the league and really stamp their authority in the first season. But the plan will be for next season, them to continue their philosophy in terms of the way they play. But I think in terms of the manager in which they've got at the helm, I think they'll very much do that. And it'd be interesting to see how they do fare in terms of the end of next season, but they're safe. Yeah, very much. I can't see them getting dragged into the relegation zone. Brighton, in relation, there's not really has anyone noticed these names? Because I think we have to... No. Also, yeah, not to be honest. Sorry if there's any Brighton fans, but there's not really anyone that I've noticed there. And just having a little look at the players that did move out.
Dan Burn more than anything.
Dan Burn, yeah.
Yeah, that was a shocker, really, to me.
Yeah.
Is anyone want to have a little shot at that state in terms of Dan Burn? I think, was it 12, 15 million they shifted it on to Newcastle for?
Yeah. I think, memory served me right, I think he is from the northeast, somewhere up in the northeast anyway. So it kind of made sense. But I'm surprised Brighton did let him go, because he was a regular starter in the team, and he can play both centre back and he can play left back or left wing back. most importantly, he adds height in the box, and he's a danger going forward. Especially if you get lots of corners, you've got Chris Wood now. You've obviously got Dan Burns. So you've got dangerous people who can stick the ball at the back of the net. Obviously, Dan Burns is not renowned for his goal scoring attributes, but definitely gives them another option if they're maybe drawn 1-1 with a few minutes to go, long ball in the box. He could definitely get the winning goal and get the crowd jumping up and down. But yeah, good move for him, to be honest. He's going to get a lot of game time as well, I think.
Yeah, he's a very unique player. He's alluded to his height there, mate. 6 foot. I think he's like 6'6", 6'7", but he plays left back. And I'm like, he fits perfect in the Bailey philosophy. Christ, John Dyche would love him in the team, or at Stoke City or something like that.
Yeah.
But spot on there, mate. Ginny's went with. I hope Ericsson does well. If he didn't think they might go down, I don't think. If he doesn't, Ginny thinks that he might possibly go down. There is no transfer window. Like, look what happened to Manchester United signs CR7. Their fans thought it'd be 21 in 22 was coming. It doesn't take much to get the United fans rowdy in terms of transfers.
Triggered.
Cheers to John Marr. Ericsson was the best news of the window. So happy for the man. Can't wait to see him back playing football. Absolutely spot on.
Yeah,
John. It might be 21 years. I'm not too sure in relation to that, mate. I agree, Ginny. But we'll head over. Obviously, Brighton. It's a sign that Gary Potter?
Graham Potter.
Graham Potter, yeah. Sorry, everyone. Graham Potter. It's a sign of the business in which he has done in previous windows, because I don't think any of us really sitting here at home as well. Let me know your thoughts. Brighton, they're not in any issues, really. I think the biggest transfer that they have done is keeping hold of the manager in terms, because he's probably one of the biggest, most exciting managers that eventually, and I was surprised even, which we'll discuss Newcastle in a bit, but even Newcastle possibly, I felt he deserves a bigger job, or no disrespect to Brighton, because it's still a big club, but in terms of that next step in terms of his managerial career, it'd be intriguing.
And Jack, keeping hold of Basuma is vital.
Oh yeah, Basuma, yeah.
That was a key one.
Yeah, he's a tremendous player. Then he built. Obviously, he's probably give you nightmares, and especially Liverpool as well.
God, I keep getting PTSD when we play Brighton, because we haven't beaten them. We haven't beaten them since they got promoted.
Yeah, no, they're bloody nightmare, aren't they, mate?
Definitely our bogey side. But yeah, I think the two players they've signed, they've sent them back immediately on loan. So there's actually nothing we can say anymore apart from that.
Yeah.
Gary Potter. I must be thinking too many Potters, thinking about Harry Potter anyway. You're a wizard. Burnley will move in, obviously. I tried to get down on him, but obviously he's very busy. Me called Nathan Burnley. And we'll start. Who wants to go with this? Ricky, we'll let you talk about the big Dutchman. We're talking about the big Dan Burn. Put him in Dan Burn in a boxing ring. It'd be a decent fight. Ricky, big Weghorst, comes with a big pedigree in terms of obviously Bundesliga football. Scores at least 15-20 goals most seasons, but obviously last year he wasn't really. He got quite a lot of goals, but not in terms of what he could do. But obviously moving out the big man, Chris Wood, for 25 million. 25 million for him. And it's come out, especially I think the last couple of last 24 hours, supposedly that buyout wasn't active in this window. It was in the previous window. So I think Newcastle have had their pants pulled down, haven't they? Well and truly, if that's the case.
Yeah.
I think you're moving Chris Wood out. He's the same player. He scores a lot of goals in the German league. But apparently he's got a very bad attitude problem in the changing room. There's been reports that he's caused a few frictions between players and staff. But let's be honest, he's dealing with Sean Dyche. So if anyone's going to put someone in line, I think Sean Dyche will be all right with him, regardless of how tall he is. But yeah, it's going to be a good signing. They're just going to play the same type of football under him, just launch it in the box to him, and hopefully he gets his head on it.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous. Owen's in. How you doing, mate?
Hello, everyone. Really nice to see you all. Nice to be here. Sorry, I'm so late. Just finished work. Would you believe it?
Yeah, don't apologise, mate. People have lives. Thank you, mate. I really do appreciate you jumping in. Obviously, I've left Owen's links and every other lads' links in the show tonight. The links and everything to all the socials and the podcasts in the description. So head over to the lads as well. But Owen, you've joined us at a time. Obviously, we've missed our favourite one. We all love to slag off Arsenal, don't we? Sadly, but we're obviously big Weghorst. I don't know if you've seen quite a lot of them, but just your thoughts in terms of the business, in terms of bringing him into Burnley, mate, and obviously the transfer news that Chris Wood did go in the opposite direction. Do you think Weghorst would be a big hit in terms of Burnley's system?
I think he's an interesting prospect. I mean, he's a 1-goal-in-2 striker. You can't give Burnley any credit for imagination. I mean, they got rid of a target man and replaced him with a taller target man. But I think he could be like, I think it could be an astute Sean Dyche bit of magic, really. Because if you're going to lump it long ball all the time, you may as well get the tallest guy, the tallest, most clinical guy you can to get on the end of those hoofs. Yeah,
absolutely spot on there, mate. Sorry, Carl, put it in timeout. After with that comment, mate. Any more of that, mate, is not accepted on the channel. Obviously, we can't talk about that stuff. But yeah, thank you very much for that, Owen. Absolute legends. I don't think anyone really wants to talk about Burnley, do they? So we'll move on. Sorry, Dan, if you are watching any Burnley fans. But obviously, Chelsea. I'm surprised everyone as well that they've only had 4 outgoings.
Yeah.
Because they have literally got about 50 loanees, haven't they, on the books? And that's where it was interesting. I've seen a couple of videos over the last couple of days in relation to Chelsea. In terms of YouTube, obviously the loan system is changing. I don't know if it's taken into account now or very much it will be a case of next season. I think you're only allowed 6 loans or something. So the way they used the loan system was used as a revenue stream, which was mad. I think they made at least 10, 15, even plus 20 million off the loan system alone, and they used that to generate obviously transfer fees coming in for loan players. So it's a massive market for Chelsea. But Lewis Baker, Juan, we'll move on from Chelsea. Sorry if there's any Chelsea fans. If there's any Chelsea fans, let us know in the comment section below. Do you felt Tuchel should brought at least players in? Because obviously you are a very while away in terms of obviously the top of the league, chasing Liverpool and Manchester City. Was that an opportunity missed for Thomas Tuchel? Obviously, Chelsea's squad is still very strong, but in relation to obviously Lukaku and Timo Werner, very much not doing the business. But questions will hang over obviously Chelsea at the minute, but we'll go on to Crystal Palace now as well. Similar story in terms of Crystal Palace. Not really. Jean from Mainz, Luke from Derby, not obviously Luke from the 1892 Reds podcast. Probably is better than from that anyway. But yeah, it's anyone want to touch on Crystal Palace's dealings? I don't really do, but any names that you do, Tom, really, anything? Do you felt that Crystal Palace should and possibly could have brought in better players than that, or do you think Vieira is very content with the current crop in which he's got at the minute?
I think he was trying to push for a fair view, because I know they were linked with Van der Beek as well.
Yeah.
But obviously chose us instead, probably closer to home. That's probably why. No, apart from Luke Plange, I was watching him for Derby yesterday, and he seems to be a good player, but he's just gone back on loan. So they've signed him, but back on loan to them just to make sure that they actually stay up from the Championship.
Yeah, was he an attacker or was he?
Striker. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's good that they've actually done that and not robbed Derby's one, if not goal friends. So they'll need it, especially get more points deduction anyway. But obviously, I shouldn't have asked you, Tom, there, because I'll ask someone else. That's it. Yeah, we'll leave Tom till the last. He'll love this. Bill, we'll go with you, mate. We'll start with you. Now, and I'll stay in a sec. It's been a bit of a mad one. Rafa's gone. Everton fans are jubilant, rightly so. Your thoughts on, obviously, in terms of the transfer business? I think Donny van der Beek, as Tom's, who just moved on from Crystal Palace then. It was a lot of talk of him moving, but obviously Dele Alli, but also your thoughts on Everton's dealings, mate? You've got decent business in, would you say?
On the face of it, if those players they've signed play anywhere near what they're capable of, then they'll shoot up the table. But that's the problem. They are risky signings, but you could say all signings are risky, can't you? I think for me with Everton, I think we obviously touched on it with Villa earlier. I think selling Digne, I mean that's a big no. But you have got to blame Agent Rafa for that, haven't you? If you didn't fall out with me, it'd still be in their side. So. And 25 million as well is not a lot of money for a player of his calibre. I think, Van der Beek, I think it's time for him to show whether he's cut enough for this division. He's no doubt he's talented, but will he go down as one of those players who's a good player but doesn't suit the Premier League? I mean, United, they know that there's two players in particular going back over the years where they've been excellent players, but not in this league. One Aston Villa and Diogo Forlan. They were both brilliant outside of Man United, but and Veron was at Chelsea as well. He didn't do much better there either. So Van der Beek's got to show if he's a top draw player, which I think it's hard to judge him at United. He played 4 starts has he made in the Premier League 2 years, and that's just ridiculous, really. So hopefully he'll. I'm sure Lampard will start him, and we'll see if he's any good. I mean, Dele Alli's the one. I think it's actually a win-win because I know it's 40 million is the actual price, but that's if certain criteria are met. I'm guessing appearances and if they win trophies or whatever. So, but to get him initially on the free, I don't think that's too bad. He's got a point to prove, and we know how good he is. I think he played brilliantly under Pochettino, and he's this forward-thinking young manager. Whereas and then Lampard's in a similar mould, likes to play attacking football. He did brilliantly with the youngsters, with Mason Mount, etc. I know Dele Alli's a little bit older, but he's got that light touch Lampard, which Mourinho and Conte and even Nuno to a certain extent don't really have. So I think that I think if like Van der Beek, if Dele Alli can perform anywhere near what he's capable of, I think he'll. I mean, it's in England, World Cup late this year as well. So. What more motivation do you need? So I think apart from that, I think Patterson's he's a fullback.
Rangers,
well for Rangers, I think El Ghazi, I think he's a bit inconsistent, but he's capable occasionally of doing well. To get him on loan is not that bad, I think. So decent at Everton. They needed to make some signings, and I think Tom will be able to say it later, but I think they'll be pretty happy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's been a good month for the Ev, sadly. But Owen, it's a bit of a mad one, isn't it?
I can't. So I'm really sorry. Everyone is welcome to their opinion. They are 100% welcome to their opinion.
Oh, can't wait for this.
All about. There's going to be a big but here. But Dele Alli is complete garbage. I've actually got the stats in front of me.
Yes, Owen.
Can I share my screen? Am I allowed to do that? Because you're sharing yours.
Hopefully,
I've
got
got to show you this because
otherwise
you won't believe it. You won't believe it. If I share my screen, hang on, I've got to share the right window here. Dele Alli stats. Here you go. So when it comes up, there you go. These are Dele Alli's attacking stats here that I'm highlighting in yellow, right? In the past 365 days, he's absolute garbage. So basically, the higher the percentile, the better you are. So if you look down here, these stats, he's brilliant at this. But then if you look at what they actually are, these are his defensive stats compared to other things. So if you want to buy a defensive-minded attack number 10, then he's one of the best in the world. If you want to buy someone who can score or create goals, he's one of the worst in the entire world. This is fbref.com. So these stats, they compare the top 5 leagues. So England, Spain, Italy, France, and Germany. And if you look, it's just his non-penalty goals, awful. non-penalty expected goals awful. Total amount of shots, he's in the 8th percentile, meaning that there are 92% of all of the wingers in all of the top 5 leagues take more shots who play as attacking midfielders or wingers, and he's absolute garbage. In a nutshell, garbage is the word. And I'm sorry, for any Everton fans here, Tom and etc. You might, but I beg you, don't get swept away with the Dele Alli hype, because it's just going to end in disappointment. That's in a nutshell. He's a load of tosh.
I just can't wait to say what I'm going to say next week. That's why.
Carry on.
I just can't wait till the derby comes in next time, because he wiped the floor against Hughes last time. So
if Dele Alli starts, it's like you're playing with 10 men. I don't mind the derby at all.
Just speak your mind next time, mate. Honestly,
that's right.
I love it for you. Yeah, good, Tom. I love those stats, Owen. Owen loves his stats, but it's
fake news, that lad.
What?
Fake news.
Yeah, right, Tom. In terms of your incomings, do you feel as an Everton fan, it's muchly improved, obviously off the back of recent seasons for Everton in terms of the window? But do you think Everton have kind of got it right in terms of the recruitment process in this window, would you say?
Pretty much, but the El Ghazi one baffled me the most. I don't know why we got him, to be fair, because it kind of ruined our other chances of getting someone possibly someone better on loan. But it is what it is. We got him. I think that's probably just to sweeten the deal for Digne, really. I think we take him on loan and then they give us 25 million. So, yeah, to be fair, win-win situation with the Dele Alli one. Like I said, we pay 40 million through performances and starts and appearances. If he doesn't perform, we don't pay a penny. So win-win. And Donny van der Beek will, like we say, it could be a class in 2.0. You know what I mean? But
yeah, he's probably the most exciting one, though, in terms of when you do look at transfers this January.
I'm just more excited to see Donny van der Beek actually start a game and actually get more minutes than sitting on a bench and not getting a game, what he was basically doing at United. So it's more interesting to see what he's going to perform this end of the season.
Yeah, spot on now. Let's get to all your comments. Just quickly ask Steve as well. In terms of what they have done, let me make sure I haven't missed anyone's. Ginny Burnley's tiki-taka up front. Oh, Christ. I think they'd have to get rid of Sean Dyche. Big Sean Dyche. They have to get rid of that. And you must be living in a parallel universe, Ginny, now. I think the day Burnley, it was when Stoke went to try and go, he sounded like Bojan and all that, didn't he? Yeah. He tried to go a bit more tiki-taka and then it just didn't work.
Shaqiri on Arnautovic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He went down that route, didn't he? And then it was a bit mad. It was a bit strange, obviously. So it was kept
Afellay as well, they got, weren't they?
Oh, yeah. Afellay, yeah. They went.
Remember him?
And I think even Tony Pulis was like, I don't like these. He's not 6'6". And he doesn't suit my style. Why are we signing these players? But yeah, Chelsea are going to have to sell a lot of their loan players next season with the new rule. Obviously, yeah, spot on there, John. Obviously, not happy they took Patterson from Rangers. He's a hell of a player, Tom. You should really be happy with that one. So obviously, John does watch quite a lot of Rangers as well. Spot on there, mate. Tony in charge. There we go, Mitchell. Ashley Cole, bloody hell. Dele Alli, he spends more time, Mitchell, on Twitch. It's all right for me. He's not even that good at Twitch and playing Fortnite. They got rid of James Rodriguez for doing that as well. So you never know. Yeah, just have to be a Twitch streamer to play for Everton anyway. Evening stream. How you doing, Gary? Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. I would like to apologise with Tom for Dele Alli. Everyone's very more deals. It's good signing only time. He's ever apologised to an Everton fan.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that takes quite a lot. I love him and John going at it. It was a couple of nights ago when we were talking it, but this it's a beauty. Everyone's entitled to opinions on my channel. That's why I love getting everyone's thoughts. It's better than my boring opinions anyway. But yeah, spot on there, mate. Obviously, absolute legends. But yeah, Steve, anything to add on terms of the Ev? Go in, put the knife in, mate.
Yeah, I'm still laughing from obviously Tom's comment about obviously coming to Anfield and obviously trying to beat us. I mean, I know last season they did beat us, but I mean, let's face it, we had Kabak and Nat Phillips there. I mean, he's coming up against the likes of Van Dijk and Joel Matip. So as to having a field day, I mean, if you look at Dele Alli's performance, looking back actually at the Tottenham game at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium when we drew 2-2, he had quite a few chances, couldn't hit a barn door. But what I don't know what it is with Everton signing Manchester United rejects. You look at Darren Gibson, Timmy Howard.
Probably the best one, Timmy Howard.
Timmy Howard, yeah. They've signed obviously Phil Neville as well. So I don't know what it is. I think we should change that name there. Instead of Everton, just put Manchester United B team. Maybe in that at the top there. But in all seriousness though, I think Donny van der Beek, only time will tell. He's only I read something, I don't know if you guys seen on the Twitter page for Manchester United, but he said that apparently he's played 50 games for Manchester United, but I wonder how many minutes. Probably about 10 minutes, if that, in them 50 games, if he has.
Can't class that as 50 games then, can you really?
No, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, like I say, only time will tell with Donny van der Beek, Dele Alli as well. I think, obviously, the only saving grace for them, I think, with Frank Lampard being obviously a midfielder, generational great, obviously, for Chelsea at the time. Maybe he might get the best out of the likes of Donny van der Beek and Dele Alli, but yeah, I've been impressed. Obviously, I think the couple of signs that they made just on deadline day probably helped them a little bit. But yeah, well, they're still in a relegation battle. Let's not get it wrong. But they've made the team a little bit stronger to maybe push away from the relegation zone now.
Yeah, spot on there, lads, as well. Obviously, that's Jay. That's the calmest rant of a player I've ever read. Owen, great. That's why I love Owen.
I barely got started, but okay.
Yeah. Go ahead, Owen. Go for it.
Someone's put 50p in Owen today.
Man United. That's what it does to me and when me and Owen talk about the Ev, mate. You know me, Tom. Well, always Liverpool fans.
We live rent-free in people's heads, especially Liverpool fans.
Oh, here we go. Right, move on from the Ev, Christ. Guys, who's next up here? So we've got Leicester. Well, it's very surprising. Obviously, didn't bring anyone in, but Ricky, it was very surprising, especially how heavily depleted Leicester City have been in terms of obviously. They laughed at Liverpool for the injury crisis in which we had last season, and they supposed excuses. But how times have changed in relation to the Foxes. Are you surprised that they didn't at least bring in better reinforcements in terms of the defence, or it's madness? Or is Rodgers yet again not got the pull to get better players into the football club?
Apparently they're in financial trouble, Leicester, a little bit, where they've spent a lot of money over the last couple of seasons and they've got nothing to show for it, really. Brendan Rodgers, I still stick by it, is a poor manager. He's a good coach, but he's a poor manager. How he's struggling with how good that young Leicester team is. I mean, you've got Maddison, you've got Barnes, you've got Ndidi, you've got Tillemans. They've got a great team, but he's just so poor. And I mean, there was talk about would you take Rodgers back at Liverpool? I'd rather fold as a club than take Rodgers back at Liverpool. I think he's awful. And to bottle top 4 2 seasons running and to be nowhere near it this season, I'm surprised he's still in a job. When the players... Who can you sign to improve that Leicester team at a decent value of money? There's not probably a lot out there. But yeah, no, I'll be surprised if he lasts the season, Rodgers.
Yeah, I think there was talk. I think that would have sent all the Leicester fans over the edge. I was talking this window. Phil Jones, the man, the myth, the Phil Jones, supposedly was linked with Leicester. I think you would have seen everyone handing in the Leicester season tickets if that happened. But Donny van de Beek, Mitchell. Donny van de Beek is going to be a good player, to be honest. Still good doing is developing another team's player. No future buying clauses. Spot on there, Mitchell. And I think United, in terms of Donny van de Beek, just waiting on the right manager to really get the best out of him as well. But spot on there in terms of in terms of Leicester, as Ricky's just alluded to there, tactically inept, Rodgers, isn't he? But when you've looked at Leicester, probably where would you say their biggest problem has lied, especially in the 6 months this season, that they could have done with bringing players in?
Definitely the defence. I mean, if you look at the midfield's pretty strong with Tielemans. They've got some good players. Obviously, Vardy, who's generally gets you 20 goals a season. Daka's a decent player as well. Iniacho, bit part player as well, but still decent, can bang in the goals. So yeah, definitely the defence, obviously with the likes of Sonachu being injured, Johnny Evans,
Fofana as well. Yeah.
Obviously the French player, trying to think of his name,
Wesley Fofana.
Yeah. He's one of probably their best centre back, to be honest. So yeah, I think it's a bit of a taste of their own medicine after the making fun of Liverpool injuries last season. Like Liverpool, they haven't got the strongest squad depth. Sorry. So I think it's obviously telling now, and they're slowly but surely gonna tail off like they normally do. And normally they're in the top 4 all season. Then it's the last couple of weeks they go out and finish 5th. But yeah, I do worry for Leicester. They needed maybe a couple of defenders in there to help them out, really. Yeah,
well, just do a quick fire one. Mark's asked, start with you, Bill, from the top to bottom. Next manager to get the boot. Just show us the name. Who do you reckon?
Well, no, Watford's track record, Roy Hodgson.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
big boy.
I'm a fan of Hodgson, but I mean, Watford just the absolute shambles of a club managers they get rid of. So it wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't win his first few games. He's out the door.
Yeah, Steve.
Yeah, to be honest, I wouldn't bet against it. Watford, like you say, you're lucky if you get 8 games in charge of Watford. So realistically, I think they're doomed anyway. But yeah, I think Roy Hodgson would be very, very lucky to stay in charge for the rest of the season.
Yeah. Tom, Lampard, give it a couple of banners. Get the Lampard out.
You took me shine there, lad. I was going to say Frank Lampard for a joke, but no. I'm going to go with Brendan Rodgers at this stage. I don't think Watford will sack Roy. I think they'll make sure, all right, if they get relegated, then they've got a manager in place that knows the Championship a bit.
Yeah, it does look tasty though, doesn't it, lads? As well, everyone at home, like come obviously top 4. If it ends up like last year, where everyone's just like, nah, I don't want it, and like you've just got whoever's 4th now at the minute, just go straight in there. But even the bottom, especially if Everton do get dragged in, and we joke about it, but if Norwich, it would be miraculous if Norwich somehow did get out. But Ricky, just a name. Do you reckon you're going with the sensible one, Watford? The sensible shout.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to go with Frank Lampard. I mean, what they do, give him the job purely because he had an argument with Jurgen Klopp last season or the season before. So
too right.
I mean,
we like arguments on the touchline.
He's the only thing you can win, Tom. Sorry, lad.
It's just, here you go, have the job because you told Jurgen Klopp about himself, then Trent buried the free kick in straight after, which is going to happen again at Everton's ground, so can't wait.
What are you lying for?
Go ahead, Owen. You don't go with Lampard, mate.
I want Everton. I'm sorry, Tom, but I want you always to be 16th or 17th in the league. So if Lampard can keep that kind of level, I mean, that's brilliant. I think he'll be given some time. But yeah, I mean, I've got the table in front of me now. And I honestly think Leicester are the biggest underachievers in the whole league at the moment, apart from Everton. Sorry, but I mean you've had trouble with injuries and stuff, and obviously the squad harmony. But that's all behind you now, and you've got some interesting signings apart from Delhi, and so I think Everton, things will be looking up for them. Norwich City, things are looking up for them. So who's underachieving? So Leicester. So I'd say Brendan, next manager to go.
Mitchell's gone with Tuchel there. Interesting. I tell you what,
it's not a bad shout.
It's a good shout.
You know what? That is a good shout, to be fair, because you know what Chelsea are like 2 seasons and you're gone, mate.
Only one win in 5.
Just ask Lampard, mate, as well.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, Ancelotti, we'll ask him as well.
No, it'd be Lampard won the Champions League. Wait, what? He wasn't even the manager. He set up the team.
He did set up the team, ladder. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, right. Lampard, COM.
Gian.
Oh yeah. Senegal game now on BBC 3. If anyone is interested, obviously there you go. Nice one, Helen. Spank Cardiff. Fingers crossed we can, mate. Fingers crossed. Lampard has got a lot to prove. Obviously, spot on there.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. But we'll go straight on to Liverpool.
Oh, Jack, are we missing out Leeds, by the way?
Oh, Leeds.
It'll be a quick one because they signed a youngster and that's it. So,
yes.
I don't think we'll spend too long on them anyway.
Yeah, I was going to say, Bill, do you know any of those names in terms of Leeds?
I think for Leeds, for me, it's more they need to get their injured players back.
Yeah.
Bamford, I think Rodrigo's back. I mean, as long as Rafinha stays fit, they're going to be absolutely fine. So, I think if they could try, maybe if they could get a striker and like a proper number 9, maybe even on loan, that would have been a better window for them. But I think it's just when they get their first team out, they're a good side, Leeds. So they'll surge up the table in the second half of the season, I think.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. And obviously, your lot were linked with. Was it? Well, we'll speak about that a bit later. But it's in terms of keeping Calvin Phillips or potentially Rafinha. I think he was linked with a lot of clubs around Europe. So I think in terms of Leeds, the biggest winners for them is themselves, isn't it? Do you reckon? Yeah. I mean, it's just keeping on to their prize assets.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. I think we'll move on from Leeds because I think, in relation to them keeping players, Cody, not going to sit in and say what's any of them. So Leicester, we've gone from them as well. Owen, I haven't spoken to you since speaking about Diaz. Your thoughts on Liverpool's window?
Well, I could show you Luis Diaz's stats, but it'll only make Tom jealous. He's up there with the best in Europe in quite a few metrics, especially the exciting ones like dribbling and goals scored. Is it something like 15 goals from 23 shots? That can mean one or two things.
This season, Owen, yeah?
This season, this season. So I don't know. Yeah, Luis Diaz. He's I don't know. He reminds me a little bit of a sort of Alain Maxima kind of, someone who captures the crowd's imagination and is going to give it all he's got every game. So I'm utterly delighted, and good luck to for the outs. Nat Phillips and all that. What a hero for what he did last season. Nico Williams, wish him all the best as well. Shame we didn't get Fabio Carvalho over the line, but I'm not that bothered about that. We've got enough strength and depth in midfield. So, things are looking really great. We've got Elliott back, Thiago back from injury. I can't wait. I can't wait for the games to start again.
Yeah, spot on, mate. No, it's spot on there. I can't wait. I think me, Owen, Ricky, and especially Steve and all the Reds around the world, I think we all expected us to have a very quiet window. I think even signing one player was a hugely positive in terms of that. Steve, you're looking forward to seeing, as Owen's alluded to, him coming into and hopefully has a very similar impact to Jota potentially.
Yeah, it's whether or not Klopp throws him straight in, because obviously normal signings like Fabinho, he had to settle into the club first of all. Same with Robbo, obviously. But the thing is, signing him for what was it, 37.5 mil plus obviously add-ons. I mean, when I seen him play for Porto against us, I didn't really think he stood out. But again, he was probably, when you look at it, was quite a poor Porto side. So only doing his best in such a crap team, let's face it. But I think once Diaz obviously became a Liverpool player, I think if you look at what Klopp's done Liverpool-wise with the likes of Mane wasn't world-class when he came to Liverpool. Now, I would say he's definitely up there. Salah as well. All these players that he's turning from good players into world-class players. And I give him time. He's going to take a while to settle into the league. But, yeah, I mean, like I say, Owen's got the stats and he does look like he likes to carry the ball. He's not easily knocked off the ball as well. Yeah. And he can definitely, when he's just outside the 18-yard box, he can certainly smash it with his right or left foot. He's both-footed. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a great addition. And I think with regards to Nico Williams going on loan, I think that was just obviously a sweetener ready for Carvalho to come in the summer as well.
Yeah, spot on, mate. And I think there was everyone on social media was losing their heads on me. That's why I logged off. I didn't look at Twitter after I done my video. You would have thought Liverpool would have had the worst transfer in the world. If you listen to Twitter. Yeah, but Bill, in terms of an outside perspective, mate, in relation to looking and analysing Liverpool's attacking options, very heavily reliant on Salah and Mane, especially not just this season, but in recent years gone by. Do you think this will add in terms of Liverpool's squad depth in relation to hopefully pushing for titles down the line and obviously the Champions League this season?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think he's got 14 goals in the league this season, a couple in the Champions League as well. And I think this signing and signing with Jota, that's shown that the front three of Liverpool, which has been so successful, is changing now. It's changing the guard now. Obviously, Jota's replaced Firmino as the number 9, as the man through the middle, and Diaz. They've got someone who's at that level now. Below that, with Minamino and Origi, there's a bit of a drop off in quality, isn't there? Whereas Diaz is on the same level now. So I think it's gonna, again, whether he'll start straight away, we don't know. But I mean, Klopp's, you guys know better than me, but he's management of players and how he improves players over in his tenure, not only at obviously Liverpool, but at Borussia Dortmund as well. Is absolutely fantastic. So you think he'd be a great sign, and that's actually not a bad fee, even if with all the add-ons, even if they all pay, that's still a decent fee for a player of his ability, no doubt about it. So I think keeping hold of players. I know the loan at Nat Phillips, but he was never going to play much this season, was he? So I think good. I think probably a bit surprised that Liverpool did sign someone, but if you're going to sign one player, he's not a bad one to sign, is he?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Spot on. Obviously, Doug is in the chat. I think, obviously, you're welcome to join, mate. Obviously, you've just finished work as well, like a couple of lads as well. But appreciate you if you can jump on, absolute legends. But yeah, it's Ricky, in relation to looking at that, as the lads have already alluded to, Nico Williams, it's keeping Fulham sweet in relation to that transfer. Hopefully it appeases Fulham, and it's good that we have got hopefully a good relationship and it's not being fractured. And obviously with the Harvey Elliott tribunal fee, we've seen in relation to that Elliott fee, that fingers crossed, like most business in and around football, it doesn't have to be done. Well, technically it has to be done in terms of the transfer window, but in terms of behind closed doors, do you ever see this deal getting done in terms of in-house from both clubs and just a gentleman's agreement, as we say?
Yeah, I mean, the Nico Williams one was probably a sweetener to say that we'll give you him if you let us have Carvalho in the summer. And hopefully he does well for Fulham, and then they slap 20 million on the table when they come up to the Premier League for him. But in terms of Carvalho, Fulham want it done with us, because if it goes to the summer and a foreign team comes in, they don't have to pay nowhere near what Liverpool would have to pay in a tribunal. They'd only have to pay a minimal fee, which someone was talking about 500 grand if a foreign team wanted to go to court with Fulham in terms of us paying the 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9, 10 million for him. So they're looking to get it done, and apparently it's more or less done. It's going to be announced over the next couple of weeks that we've agreed a price of 8 million, I believe it's going to be with him, which ain't bad for a top talent supposed to be coming through. But I mean, Nat Phillips as well, when he's gone on loan to Bournemouth. I mean, if Newcastle was slapping 15 million down for Dan Burn, have you not gone for Nat Phillips? I mean, the bloke owns the San Siro when he Cruyff turned Ibrahimovic over the gaff. He got us in top 4 by himself, pretty much, with who we had to play with at centre half that season.
Yeah.
And no one took a chance on him bar Bournemouth. I see Watford wanted him a loan deal with a buy price in the summer, but they didn't want to offer nowhere near what we wanted. Newcastle wanted him on loan, but weren't going to play him as a first-team player. And I think Burnley wanted him as well, but couldn't guarantee him the playing time. So, yeah, it's a good move for him. Hopefully he does well there. And if Bournemouth come up, they put down 15 million for him.
Yeah. Absolutely spot on there, mate. Doug, there should be a link on your Twitter, mate. I did drop you the link. If you haven't, then that's me being nosy, because I'm pretty sure I sent everyone a link, but probably me forgetting. Yeah, let me know if you haven't got the link, mate. I'll drop it over in a little second. And obviously, John's just saying facts, Ricky. Spot on there. And we'll move on to everyone's most disliked team, Man City, I think. We can all agree on that. Julian Alvarez, Tom, obviously you were on the show a couple of nights ago speaking about him. This deal, really in relation to him staying at River Plate or Boca, whoever he has anyway, but he's very much highly renowned in South American football. Do you think post this season he'll have the desired impact that hopefully a certain other Argentinian striker had for them?
Yeah, he's a quality little player. Actually, to be fair, we probably won't see him this window, this season, because I think he's still on loan at River Plate. But it could be. I was reading another article as well that he could be there next and back at River Plate next season as well. So it could be a while before we actually see Alvarez in the Premier League. But for what he's doing at River Plate, he's a fantastic little player.
Yeah.
Like a literally mini little Suarez. So he's one to look forward to coming to the Premier League, shall we say?
Yeah, spot on there, mate. Doug, apologies, la. Right, there you go. Naughty McKindle. Sorry, boys. Right, we'll go into, obviously, Owen, in relation to the outgoings for Manchester City. This is probably how they make all their fraudulent millions, innit? And bringing in loan fees and everything.
Yeah.
Ferran Torres, do you think I was very surprised because I felt he had a decent season. Well, a decent impact in the Premier League, but like the lads have said, and like we said, with quite a lot of teams, there's not that availability to have that spots in the team. But any players outgoing for City or Ferran Torres, do you think he'll have a very good career in Barcelona?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what happened. He just wanted game time, presumably, which Pep doesn't guarantee to anyone. So yeah, it makes sense for him and for City if he doesn't want to be there, that he F's off. And so, but for going to Barcelona, I don't know how they afforded it. I don't know who's given sweeteners to who is sweetening whose pie, or who's got their finger in whose pies, or I don't want to know, to be honest. But so Ferran Torres, good luck to him. Patrick Roberts is the other name that that really stands out from that list, because he was the wonder kid. It's never quite happened for him. They called him. He's one of those the something Messi wherever he was from. If he was from Ireland, the Irish Messi or something like that, I'm not sure. But there you go. So I hope he has a good career at Sunderland. The others I don't really know, to be honest. Tommy Doyle, maybe I've heard mentioned, but I don't know. Yeah, it's obviously their system, as you say, that makes them millions.
spot on
There's two good kids there. There's two good kids, Man City, that go out on loan. Tommy Doyle and that Taylor Harwood Bellis. And we're supposed to be a top young centre back. That they're looking to keep long term, so they're trying to get him as much game time as possible, so that when they bring him back in, he's ready to go.
Good to know. Okay,
lads, City must have been laughing with the fee that Barca paid for Torres.
Yeah, how much was it? Was it about like 40 odd mil?
55.
I think initially like 46.5 initially, and then add-ons it could be about 40, 54, 55. I mean, he's a decent player, but no wonder Barca in the shit with the overpaying of players. Coutinho being another one, Dembele. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a good player, Torres. Yeah. Good player, but he's not. Even if they pay the add-ons, he's not a 55 mil player. Absolutely no chance. So
he was nearly not going to play, wasn't he, because of the situation? I think also they had to get rid of Coutinho so they could actually get him to play.
No, exactly. Yeah. So he was never going to play regularly at City, so that's a really good fee. Fair play.
Yeah, spot on. Obviously, we'll get to everyone's comments as well. Hello, Doug. I hope you had a good day and work. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's a magnificent seven, isn't it? It's you'd like to say that. Happy birthday, Tom. By the way, hope you're having a good day.
Yeah, cheers, Doug. Nice one. I'm paying for it today.
Yeah, I'm paying him overtime because he's come on today. So
happy birthday.
But yeah, spot on, mate. Obviously, if Football Manager is anything to go by, Alvarez is going to be top 5 in the world. You never know. Probably had David and Gog going like mad back in the day as well.
I thought you were going to say Origi then, mate, not Gog.
What do you mean, lad? Origi's worth 100 million, lad. If you play Barca every week, you can't get after it. I'm intrigued, especially if he does go on a free, but I'll be very surprised if Liverpool somehow get any money off the back. But yeah, spot on there, Mitchell. Story about these clubs that break the transfer rules and just get a small fine, and the rules need to be tighter. Yeah, it's like that with most clubs, mate. If you look back in the 60s, 70s, it's been the same thing in modern day football, and that's certain to an extent, and certain decisions that go Liverpool's way or United's or City's or the big clubs, mate. It's a sad reality of football. I think obviously the European Super League, that was a massive thing that come about, and I think it will be a massive thing in the next couple of years because they will try it again. They'll just add relegation, so people it won't be a closed shop. So sadly, and I'll hopefully get the lads on for future shows, and anyone out there that really wants to talk about these big talking points within football, because it's important that we do have these discussions and just fans have an option to obviously voice their opinions on ticketing, shirt sales as well. How much the modern fan is getting, the gap between football is getting bigger year by year. I think in the next 50 years, you'll see literally football will be that big that the modern fan won't be able to afford just to go to the game. Quite sadly, really. But that's a whole series in itself, mate. But in talking about that, I agree, Mark, especially Barca. I like the loan farming system. Yeah, I think we should Chelsea do, mate, as well. They need to be investigated about that as well. End-to-end football with one taking off. Obviously, the Senegal match. Concussions all over the place.
No, at the moment, I believe. I think it's 0-0. I haven't been watching it because I actually forgot I actually forgot the first semi-final was tonight. I thought it was tomorrow, and then I thought the Cameroon-Egypt game was Friday. So, big God, I'm actually missing the Cameroon-Egypt one. I think that'll be a cracking game.
Yeah, Mo Salah FC. He's just carrying Egypt on his shoulders, isn't he? Fingers crossed and get to the final. But Doug, thank you for joining us, me and the lads. We'll start off, obviously, just a quick one on Diaz before we do discuss Man United at the minute, mate. Are you happy, content with the signing, as the lads already alluded to before? Will it add to Liverpool's squad depth, especially going to the back end of this season?
I think it's a fantastic signing. I really, really do. I think he's one of the biggest sort of names in Colombian football at the moment. And you know, like obviously first ever Colombians play for us as well. You know, there's not been many Colombians that have come into the Premier League. Obviously, Radamel Falcao is obviously the one I think many people remember. Juan Pablo Angel, I think, was Colombian as well. Aston Villa striker as well. But there's not been really anyone sort of high sort of profile than Luis Diaz. Everybody in Colombia loves him. And he had a good time at Porto as well. But I'm just excited by the fact that we've got a strike force of Salah, Mane, Firmino, Jota, Diaz, Minamino, and Origi to go into the rest of the season. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely tremendous, mate.
I was just waiting for Tom to say James Rodriguez there. I was waiting for him to say.
I was just gonna wait for it, but.
Yeah, James good as he spends more time on his Twitch stream.
Yeah,
like literally.
Yeah, we're like signing Twitch streamers, mate.
Yeah, go ahead, lad. That's what you're in the title. Watches, you aren't just sponsored by Angry Birds. It'd be Twitch next season. You have Twitch and Angry Birds on your shoulders.
Not sponsored by Angry Bird anymore.
Yeah, well, it's. But Tom, we'll quickly deep dive into obviously Everton, Man United, in terms of obviously no incomings. But the biggest disappointment, and I think from a neutral point of view, looking at Man United, was them basically keeping hold of Jesse Lingard by not his own means. Yeah. I think obviously we'll ask Bill in terms of the West Ham recruitment this summer, but your thoughts on Jesse and obviously United's business outgoings as well. But I think that the Lingard scenario situation is probably the biggest news story in terms of players that didn't leave in this window.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Jesse, to be fair, because I could understand why United probably didn't want to put him on loan to West Ham, because obviously they're in like a battle for, trying to get the Champions League spot. So that's understandable. But for them to say no to Newcastle is a bit wrong for them. But with all the things that's going on at the club at the moment, maybe that's probably why they've been told to keep hold of him. So there probably are reasons why they've said no to a lot of teams.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. Obviously, we're just discussing there, Mitchell. Home kit should be capped at 2 seasons minimum before you can release a new one. Was that the case, Mitchell, as well, lads, as well? Did that ever used to be the case a bit earlier on?
Early 2000s, definitely.
Was it? Yeah, spot on there, boys. That should be the case, and it's a thing, and especially if you've got like a load of family as well, and you're buying everyone a kit. You're like, oh my god, it's like £100 just for even the top. But don't get me started on that, Lance, or any of us on that one. Spot on there, Mitchell, mate. That's another video for another night. But yes, make sure Liverpool are still in it. Yes, yeah, spot on. Obviously Champions League, something. But it's the Bill in terms of obviously Jesse. Obviously, we'll discuss about West Ham's business at the minute. But are you surprised that United have very much done that? But it's very stereotypical of obviously the running of Manchester United at the minute in terms of players incoming and outgoing at the minute, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, I think if Lingard at the start of January went to Ranić, I want to leave on loan, I think they would have allowed him to. But as soon as they let Martial go to Sevilla, there was no chance they were going to let him go. Absolutely none at all. So if he got in first and left first, or was allowed to leave first, I think he would have left or joined West Ham or Newcastle or whatever. But as soon as Martial was allowed to leave, they were always going to keep him. So that's just one of those things. But hopefully he'll get a chance because I think he deserves it. And I'm a fan of his. But I mean, if not, he will leave in the summer and he'll find somewhere else.
Yeah, so I think Saucy just gets back to playing football, and it means it's obviously Twansebe did go to Napoli on loan, probably the best centre half at United at the minute. Even though Varane's injured, but Twansebe's miles better than Lord Slaphead Maguire. Tony Martial, what a waste of money going on loan. 70 odd mil he paid, and obviously, no other names that do stand out. Obviously, we've already discussed.
To be honest with you, Jack, everyone hyped up Martial just because of his goal against us in 2015-16.
Oh yeah, he's been living off that for the last 2 years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But we'll move on to Newcastle. Probably the biggest spenders in the whole of Europe, which is quite rare, going from having the fat Mike Ashley and then spending penny pinching for the last good part of 10 years. And obviously a new change of ownership. Obviously, Ricky, we'll start with you, mate. Obviously, the Newcastle, have they done enough to stay up? It's a big question.
No. I think it's a poor window for Newcastle, for being honest. I mean, Dan Burn's a poor defender. You've gone for Chris Wood for 25 million when there's tons of strikers out there that are better, that will get you more goals. I mean, Divock Origi was a better shot than Chris Wood. Defensively, they haven't signed enough. Trippier's all right. He's good at set pieces and cross the ball. He's not the best defensively, but I still think they didn't need a centre midfielder. I think they've gone for him purely just to show they've got money to spend and can attract them sort of players. But I think they're short of a centre half. Matt Targett's a decent enough left back, but I still think they're in trouble. They could have done with another centre half. I said that earlier. They tried to loan Nat Phillips, but were trying to play low ball with it. So, I think Newcastle, poor window. I think there was a lot more expectations of them. I mean, Paul Merson said it on Soccer Saturday. Did Newcastle just wake up in January and decide to go for players, or weren't they scouting anyone before the window opened? Weren't they doing their homework? It just seems they woke up on the 15th of January and thought, let's start signing players.
Yeah, spot on there. Owen, spot on what Rick's had to say there. It'd be interesting to see how if in terms of transfer strategy and obviously Newcastle's vision, obviously from the people at the top of the club in terms of they run how their ambition and obviously bringing managers in. Obviously, they lack ambition, but I think Eddie Howe, in terms of he was the only manager that they currently they did try and get Unai Emery, and obviously they did tinker with certain other bids for certain managers. But going off the back of what Ricky's had to say there, mate, any players that stand out in terms of Newcastle's? Obviously, Bruno Gomares from Lyon, he's very renowned, especially in South American football. But do you think, are you happy with what Newcastle have done there, or do you think, similar to Ricky, they've not done enough to?
Oh, I don't know if they've done enough, but I'd be delighted if I was a Newcastle fan. I don't know if they've done enough. I slightly disagree. I like Dan Burn. I feel the burn. I think he's a good, he's gangly, but he's effective. I think he's quite good. Bruno Guimaraes, I mean, I live in France, and I talk to a lot of people about football here and French football. And I've watched him a few times. I don't watch too many Lyon matches. I watch PSG more than anyone. But against PSG, Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paqueta in midfield, they were miles better than the PSG midfield. Miles better as a duo. Guimaraes he's a quality player. He snaps into the tackles. He makes wise decisions. He's just a really good, solid midfielder, which is what Newcastle have needed for a long time. As I say, I like Dan Burn. I'm not sure about Chris Wood. I think he's sort of over the hill a bit. Kieran Trippier, good signing. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, we, as non-Newcastle fans, we have to sort of enjoy the next couple of seasons, because maybe in 5 years' time, Newcastle are going to be like, they might turn the league into like the German league or something equally one-sided, like City have done in the past 4 seasons. But it's it's making everyone else's life a lot tougher to compete with it. But it's a fairly decent start.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. And it'd be interesting, as Owen said, there could be, they've got an endless pit of money, but we've seen with certain other clubs around Europe as well. We've alluded to Barcelona. They had a lot of money, but it was on poor signings. Will be interesting. It probably intrigues me the most importantly, is watching Newcastle from an outside point of view. How they go about it. It could take them easy 5 years to win the league, or it could be a complete polar opposite in terms of taking them 10 years, like a good 5 years of absolutely pointless spending on, no disrespect to Chris Wood, but players of that ilk and not really attracting the players. But I think it stems from the manager. If they can get at least, I think it will take at least 2 to 3 managerial changes, as much as you can throw money at it. But in terms of Steve, it's Chris Wood, Trippier, even Trippier coming out with quotes of, "Oh, I've been a Newcastle fan all my life." Is he from that neck of the woods? Is he? Or
who? Kieran Trippier.
Kieran Trippier.
No, he's from
Manchester,
Lancashire way, I think. Yeah. No, I mean, I've never heard him. I mean, you've heard obviously the players who come to Liverpool and said I've been a Liverpool fan all my life, and then they go to somewhere else and they've been a Celtic fan and so on. Yeah. But no, I don't think I've heard many people say, "Well, I was a Newcastle fan," maybe because of Shearer at the time. But yeah, with regards to their window, I mean, let's be honest, they've signed players who are their sort of caliber in their sort of league, really. Chris Wood wouldn't get into many teams even in the top half, never mind the bottom half. So that's a worrying signing for me. I think, yes, obviously he'll offer something different for Newcastle if they get the balls into the box. But Guimaraes for me is probably the standout player. He can, if he adapts to the league, he'll obviously be loved in Newcastle anyway, and I'm sure he'll get a few goals as well. But Dan Burn as well, I think he can offer something different. Height, like I said earlier on, I do think he is a decent left back, not obviously top half sort of left back, but I definitely think he can offer something for Newcastle going forward. And it says it all that Jamal Lewis, I think he's been sort of pushed aside really now, because you've got obviously Dan Burn and you've got Paul Dummett as well. I think he plays left back as well. So
Matt Ritchie as well, can he as well?
Yeah, exactly. So he's been pushed out. So obviously Dan Burn's not going to want to go from Brighton, where he was generally starting quite a lot of the games, to sit on the bench. That's a signing that says to me that he's going to be starting. He's going to be the number one left back for Newcastle going forward.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, mate. We'll quickly move on. Rattle through these as well. Obviously, Jeff Hendricks did leave as well, but I think for where the aspirations of where Newcastle want to be, he's not the type of quality they need. Anyone in terms of Norwich? Well, Tom, the big one, obviously, is Todd Cantwell. And for me, he's probably one of my signs of the summer, for especially this window. Do you see him flourishing in a Bournemouth system?
Yeah, Bournemouth have done really well actually in this window, to be fair, signing a lot of decent players, to be fair. All right, we've not seen them much, probably the ones that they've signed in the Premier League, but they are up and coming and they are really good. I can't believe that Norwich have been that silly to get rid of Todd Cantwell, to be fair, because he was flourishing in the Premier League when he came on the pitch. So baffled me, to be fair, that they got rid of him.
Yeah, I think his contract is ending, but I'm not too sure, Chat, or anyone on.
He's hardly played this season, though.
Yeah, he's been out injured, hasn't he? Yeah, but I don't know how these work. Obviously, if you've got 6 months left, if you get loaned out, I think obviously you just might as well just run down your contract. I think it is the case, but obviously pre-contract agreements potentially come the end of this season. After that deal could go to Bournemouth, but Norwich, they've not got a lot of money. Probably one of they are in the Premier League. They've literally probably got like a budget of say 5 million. Mark contrast to obviously Newcastle United at the top of the elite teams as well. But if there's any Norwich fans out there, let me know your thoughts on this window. Do you felt you could have bring in just even one player, obviously to replace the quality of Todd Cantwell's move anyway, but interesting. I don't think that they've done enough to really survive, but funny things have happened in football in terms of teams surviving. in terms of Bill in relation to Southampton, it's a bit of a mad one, this, isn't it? Big Willie Caballero, he's a penalty save specialist in terms of, obviously, if you go to a cup final or something, he'll make Southampton play. But do you felt Southampton have got enough to stay up, similar to, obviously, it was just with a couple of teams, but...
Yeah, I think if they were nearer the bottom, I think they probably would have tried to get maybe a couple of loans in or whatever. But Hasenhüttl, he knows what he's doing. He's a good manager. They've picked up the last few months or so. So yeah, if they were hovering around the relegation zone, I think they would have tried to get a few more players in. But I think they've got enough especially going forward with Brozier in particular. So I think they'll be fine. I think if they didn't. If they didn't have, if they had their Brozier injured or their Ward-Prowse is injured, if they had a few injuries, might have gone in the market. But I think their first 11's decent enough. Will give anyone a game, just as they did to Man City before the break.
Yes, Bill. Yes, Bill. We love that result from Southampton. And obviously the young lad that I think, the centre half that got man of the match that game, he's sprung up into the squad as well. Yeah, he played very well, mate, didn't he? We'll move on. Obviously, not really a lot to discuss there, even the outgoings. Southampton, they're all young lads, or obviously one of those, Sam McQueen's retired. Sounds like a lead singer for Queen or so, I don't know. But we're going to Tottenham. We'll go into that. The two incomings. Lone FC, Tottenham are coming into. Who was it? We'll start with you, mate.
Yeah,
bit of a mad bit of business. Obviously, Bentancur coming in for around 15, 17 odd million, and obviously Dejan Kulusevski signed by, I think it was when obviously whoever's running Tottenham at the minute. In terms, he used to be at Juventus, and he was the main reason why Kulusevski did go to Juve, and obviously from whoever he did sign prior to the Juve move. But good business, or do you felt Tottenham could have done with a bit more in relation? We've already discussed quite a lot of the teams that are going for, hopefully vying for top four. But do you think these players suit, obviously, the system in which is wanting to get brought into Tottenham, mate? Or do you think they could have done a bit more better?
I think it has been a disastrous window for Tottenham. I think it's been a hopeless window. Absolutely hopeless. The thing I don't get is that Conte's come in and he should know what Daniel Levy is like as a businessman, as like a chairman. Like, I always thought when Conte went into Tottenham, I thought Conte and Levy is a marriage made in hell. And you look at what's happened in January, and yes, I know they've got the two players. I know they've got Bentancur and I know they've got Kulusevski, but for me, I just think it's a poor window. I think it's a really, really poor window. They should have done a lot more. And basically, like, they're flogging all their they flogged their record signing Tanguy Ndombele right back to Lyon as well. So yeah, for me, I think they should have done a lot better. Lo Celso's gone, Gill's gone. I mean, Ali. The fact that Ali's gone to Everton to sort of rekindle his career is a very, very good move. But £40 million later, I don't get it with Tottenham. I really don't get it with Tottenham. But for me, disastrous window. Should have done a lot more, and I think they're leaving themselves a bit short, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, spot on there, mate. Let's get to your comments as well. Kinfield Campbell, slightly overrated on his book. Bournemouth is the level he is good at. Obviously, goodbye to John as well. I think you're going to watch the Rangers game, mate. Thank you very much for tuning in, you absolute legends, and obviously Helen as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hope you have a lovely evening, both of you, and everyone as well. Is anyone else surprised that Tuchel's not been? Yeah, I think we discussed that, mate, didn't we, Jay? Obviously, when we were discussing, but it's Roman. Roman, he's not used to not winning the league. It's a matter of time. There'll always be a threat, obviously, because he's got a lot of money, and unless he gets banned from the UK Abramovich, and he has to get his assets stripped off him. I don't think he'll never stop spending money on Chelsea. And they'll always have a top coach because they'll just sack the manager most seasons if they don't win any titles. Tottenham used now to a non-league player, priceless.
See, this is where Luke gets too excited because if you're talking about Tottenham, their outgoings is horrific.
Yeah.
But them 2 incomings, you're potentially looking at top 3 teams in the window for best business. I mean, that Benacore is unbelievable. That Cluj-Kosi is a winger. I mean, there was a lot of big European teams looking at him. So we can all say Tottenham should have bought more in. Their outgoings, like I said, is horrific. I mean, how can you get rid of half them players that you wasted so much money on? That Brian Gill, I think, turned up. Yeah. I think Brian Gill turned up for a photo shoot for a couple months and then decided to go back home to Spain.
He looks like your stereotypical Scouser, doesn't he? He looks like a Scouser. You should be in the Beatles museum, mate.
Conte's going in the summer anyway. Conte will leave Spurs in the summer.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, spot on.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see he's not being backed at all.
Yeah, it'll be gone.
They got no money, have they? They got no money.
Yeah. Well, as Luke said there, I suppose there's 1.4 billion in debt. All that money's gone on for the NFL stadium. Might as well be an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
Tottenham, getting Ndombele. The best man to ask is the best man to ask is Owen. Obviously, French. You see a lot of French football. He's going back to the club in which Tottenham did sign him from. I think he got a buyback clause in terms of he does play a lot of minutes. Owen, do you see him getting his career back on track at Lyon?
Oh, that wasn't me. Yeah, it was.
Sorry, dog's gone mental here.
No, sorry. I mean, I hope so. I mean, he's. I think it's entirely understandable. You could see what Conte's going for with the players he's brought in and the players that are going out. I've already mentioned Dele Alli's useless, so I mean that's fine. Brian Gill is a bit lightweight, and then Ndombele doesn't press. You know, he doesn't press at all. He's not like one of those super, energetic, dynamic pressers that Conte likes to get. So I think this is the thing with Bentancur and Kulusevski pressing from the front. Conte wants, he wants maniacs. He wants, hard-working maniacs. And Ndombele is like, I don't know, he's just too, it's not his game. He's a wonderful technician, and I hope he does get his career back on track. But he's definitely someone who's more suited to an Italian league or a Spanish league. He's not suited to the Premier League, especially with Conte, with his mad football. So, yeah, good luck to Ndombele. But I think it's a good move for everyone because he would not have fit into Conte's plans at all.
It says it all really, Owen, when Monday Night Football actually do like an actual piece on Ndombele actually not running, not sprinting.
Oh, really? Sprinting. Did they? I didn't see that. Okay.
Yeah, that's again. I think Tottenham were playing Burnley. I think if I remember rightly, I think Tottenham may have won the game 1-0, but all the talk was on Ndombele's performance in the first half. And I believe that Mourinho hooked him. I was either at half time or I think it was.
I remember half time. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think from then it's just not been great for him. But do you know what? I think to call him a flop, I think he has been. I think he has been a flop because £65 million of Ndombele is obviously gone back to Lyon, obviously to replace Bruno Guimaraes. So is his career at Tottenham over? It probably will be, and he probably will be moved on in the summer.
Would you take him over Naby Keita, Doug?
Oh no, I wouldn't.
Would you take him over Naby Keita?
No. You can't sprint, can't run. No. Yeah.
I think we played Spurs early on in the season. I think it was one of his very first games in the league. I remember sat in and I'm watching for a couple. Obviously, they had him in Sissoko in the heart of the midfield. It's chalk and cheese. Obviously, they got rid of Sissoko.
He looked unfit, Jack. Yeah. He looked unfit as well. I've just seen something which just shocks me. Apparently, West Brom have sacked their manager.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we were speaking about that.
Steve Bruce is getting meant to be going for the job.
Steve Bruce, yeah.
For God's
West Brom's
sake.
struggling though. West Brom are struggling.
It's either Steve Bruce or Sam Allardyce. They're next on the Everton job list after the current manager they've got. So sorry.
Oh, lad, if that ever happens, I'm sporting Sammy Rovers.
It's all right, you've already had Big Sam.
seen-
What about, yeah, he done well, didn't he?
Have you seen Frank Lampard TV? It's got on there. I had a row with Klopp. That's his CV.
He's going to have another round of derby as well. Watch.
Hopefully Klopp lands from that. Right, we got some comments. 65 million, Arsenal getting ripped about Pepe, and rightly so. And Spurs had no words. No. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
That's one of them. That's crazy money that's floating around. And when he
Sound
says,
like Brendan Rodgers. Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's where I get all my vocabulary. He's a wonderful man, Brendan Rodgers.
Wonderful human being.
Well, that's the one. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, wonderful human being. Yeah.
wait, I'm surprised. I'm honestly surprised he hasn't took Joe Allen. Well, going off track, but Joe Allen, he's saying that he's a terrible footballer. Ndombele is a good player, but doesn't suit the English game. This is why scouting is so important. You do wonder if clubs do scouting anymore. Yeah, they probably just play FIFA, mate, or Football Manager to do the scouting after these. But we'll go on to obviously move on from Tottenham, and we're very close to finishing. Obviously, Watford. Has anyone seen a lot of Watford this season that wants to talk about in terms of their incoming? Obviously, Kalu, he's very, is he highly renowned in French football, Owen, or is he just a standard bottom table Premier League attacker potentially? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I haven't followed his career.
I don't believe he's 24, though.
Oh no, yeah.
He looks about 32.
Yeah. Is that the old Lazio kid?
No, but he might as well be.
No,
I mean, he's pension time, isn't it, for him?
Yeah, no. Obviously, you haven't seen him. He's, fingers crossed. Obviously, Watford, if you can get the goals out of him or any of the new attackers,
they'd be lucky to get him moving.
Oh,
he's got 1 goal and 1 assist in 11 Ligue 1 matches I've just seen. So yeah.
Oh yeah. He's definitely sending Watford down by the sounds of it. But we'll move on from Watford because there's not really a lot of players there. Yeah, in all honesty. Sorry if there's any Watford fans watching. But we'll move on. Obviously, Bill, West Ham. From a neutral point of view, Bill, I was disappointed by the business that you lot done in terms of you were linked with quite a lot of players, but didn't really go gun-ho in terms of recruiting players. What's your thoughts on West Ham's window?
Absolutely shocking, mate, but not a great surprise. We had a great chance last season to potentially get in the Champions League. We missed out by a couple of points. Obviously, we got Lingard last year, but we needed more, and to not even get that, to sign absolutely no one, not even on loan, is absolutely ridiculous. I think just a typical transfer window under Golden Sullivan. Then the sooner they leave our club, the better. And it just proves that, how we've done this season and last season is not down to them. It's down to the great work by David Moyes and the staff, Kevin Nolan and Stuart Pearce, etc., and the players. It's nothing to do with our board. We should have. We've put in these phantom stupid bids for Phillips and Rafinha. I mean, we put them in, and yet probably at half of what they actually valued at. I mean, yet we can't get Calcicar from Marseille for like 15 mil. How's that work out? So it's just nonsense. Like we tried bullshit we've heard over the past 12 years under these owners. So I think Moyes probably. I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank, and he's been brilliant for a second spell. But I think as he divered a little bit, he got that. I think Tom will be able to say he'll be able to back me up. Divering Dave is my name at times, but he can't argue, actually saying that he can't argue with the players that he's brought in. Since we've got Bowen and Zuma's done great since he's joined. So it's just, I think it could be a missed opportunity for us. We've got a very thin squad as it is, and I think with obviously got the Europa League knockout stages to come, I just feel it's another missed opportunity. I think it's always going to be tough getting. It was always going to be tough getting the Champions League, but I think similar to Arsenal, I think that race might be run now.
Yeah, it was the attacking one, mate, as well. You're very heavily reliant on, obviously, Antonio, aren't you?
Yeah.
When we've done our pre-match shows and post-match runs as well, mate, over the years. Even I spoke to you a couple of times about Divock Origi. I know we joke about Div, but he's been linked with quite a lot of clubs, and West Ham were supposedly rumoured.
Oh, I would have took him, no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting times with the West Ham, mate. Fingers crossed he can get Europe, but obviously you've got a great manager at the helm, and I think he's not going to take any nonsense as much as similar to Conte. I think if he doesn't get what he wants, I think there will be fractions within the boardrooms at the minute. But yes, Steve, should have went. Thank you very much for tuning in, mate. Obviously, you only just seen your message, mate. Apologies. I was a bit late.
Good, guys.
But thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go as well.
Okie dokie, lads. Thank you very much. Statman,
Steve.
Links and Doug's links are in the description below. Make sure to head over to subscribe to the lads' channels as well. We'll quickly get moving on anyway, but disappointing, Bill. Deeply disappointing about West Ham. Fingers crossed.
Understatement, mate.
Yeah, deeply disappointing, mate. Because obviously I know you and a load of West Ham fans as well. Especially you are my favourite London side anyway, because especially apart from beating us this season. Bill, we'll forget about that, mate. But he's sounds. But we'll move on. Obviously, to quickly get rattled through these. Obviously, the final team is Wolves, and I know when we've spoken about Mr. Baby Oil himself, haven't we, over the season? It's a mad one. Is it the maddest transfer for you personally? Adama Traore going to Barca?
I share a birthday with him. And so I'm a little bit biased because, if you ever meet anyone and they've got the same birthday as you, you're like instantly buddies. I feel like Adama Traore, he's my buddy. Going to it's weird. He's such a unique footballer. I was thinking about it yesterday that if I was the manager of Barca, I'd play him right through the middle with a free roll so he can defend and he can attack, and you just pass him the ball and you just see how many people he can dribble past, and then hopefully he can dribble around the keeper and score, because he can't kick the ball. But he dribbles like a newborn bairn. His dribbling skills are unbelievable. But it is a weird one that they'd have him back at Barca after letting him go. But no, I think Wolves. If I was a Wolves fan, I'd be really happy. Not because I recognise anyone that they brought in, but just the intelligence by which their club is being run is really superb, because their manager is great. They're so organised. They remind me of the manager of Nice, who was the manager of Lille last season, who managed to get a really tightly organised team to win the league, and they beat PSG to the league. And this season, they beat PSG the other night in the cup 0-0. Regardless that PSG had Messi on the pitch from the start and everything. It's just really good organisation. The kind of managers with Bruno Lage is the same. The kind of managers that Roy Hodgson thinks he is.
Yeah.
It's like that's the kind of super organised. And good luck to them. They're a team. They're what, 6th or 7th? They're already overachieving. And I think they can go higher. Because no one could score against them. So, well done to them.
Yeah, spot on. Gary's agreeing, as always. What's more likely, Wolves, top 4, or Everton relegation? Go ahead, Tom.
Don't even think Wolves will get into the top 4, will they? I know they're doing all right, but I think Wolves... But I don't know. Probably Wolves could stay in the top half. Say between 10th and 7th, but I wouldn't guarantee that they'll get Europe.
Yeah, Wolves for me have to be one of the most underrated teams this season. Absolutely spot on. I'm still laughing at Spurs. I think we all are, mate. It's mad how some certain clubs that absolutely ran like a travesty, really. Everton relegated Gary. Yeah, Gary, you love that one. But lads, I think that concludes tonight's show. Obviously, Bill, what's all your socials, mate? So everyone can head over and subscribe to your channel. Oh, where's Bill gone? There we go.
So there's my Twitter username. So Garage Football's my channel. YouTube.com/Garage Football, and we're on Facebook and Twitter. So cheers.
Thank you very much for coming on, mate, and taking the time out tonight's show, mate. Hopefully get you on throughout the season. And obviously, Owen, just a shout out. I've left everyone's links in the description as well, so just click the drop down description. But Owen, just your socials, mate, so I can check it out.
Yeah, Kop On Podcast, all one word, mostly. Just check it out if you like podcasts. We've got a YouTube channel, but I'm not very often on YouTube. It's more about the audio stuff. If you want to hear a Liverpool podcast, then Kop On, check it out. Thanks. Yeah, and thanks a lot for having me on, Jack. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, mate.
Speak to everyone here. It's been great. Cheers, guys.
Damn easy. Ricky, you and Luke, obviously absolutely smashing it at the minute. Just shout out to your socials and that, mate.
Yeah, 1892 Reds Podcast, Liverpool Podcast. If you like to see people rant about certain players who shouldn't be at the club, or that should be Everton standard. But come on over. We've got Jack on Friday for the Cardiff preview. Come on over, subscribe, like, and make sure you like and subscribe to Jack. Doing well at the minute, and he's a big friend of ours on our channel. So yeah,
thank you very much, Tom. We need to get you an Everton channel sorted out. I think
no chance, lads.
You just sit there wearing all the Liverpool fans up. You just get all Liverpool views in every sound. But cheers, Tom. Thank you very much for coming on, mate. And obviously, Doug,
no worries. Thank you for having me.
Doug from the Dugout Football channel, who obviously he just finished work, but I really do appreciate his time as well. And obviously, Statman Steve from Stubbs channel is linked to everything in the description anyway. But most importantly, thank you to all my panelists for taking the time out tonight. I know it has gone a bit longer than expected, but thank you to every single one of you for all the support. Means a lot. And everyone, most importantly, at home as well. Hope you have a lovely evening, night, whatever, morning, wherever you are around the globe. And this will be very much a recurring podcast. Obviously, we'll just speak about the Premier League, but this week it was just a recap on obviously the transfers and everything. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, everyone at home. And
cheers, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Very soon. See you next week. Ciao.